Vocal foundations. Just like I said in the previous video, there are 5 core vocal foundations. And the first one we're going to start with, the first one is rate of speech. Rate of speech. Now, I believe in experiential learning. So just for a moment, imagine I started this video like this. Imagine I started it like this. Hi, everyone. It's so good to be here. I can't wait to... You're probably freaking out, and you're freaking out. You're going, I'm just going to open a new tab and check out what's happening on Netflix while Vin talks. Oh, there's a new show called Dark. Well, let's check up there. I've probably lost your attention, haven't I? And you're probably gone. So what that tells us is that a very slow default rate of speech is not effective, nor is it influential. Note I said default. So if you stick to that rate of speech, not engaging, not influential, not impactful. Now, what if I did this? Hi everyone, it's really good to be here. Can't wait to take you through the 5 core vocal foundations, starting with rate of speech, because we want to make sure we take the time to really style our vocal image and make sure it's amplifying the best parts of us. What if I did this? It's probably too fast. And what that tells us is that that's not engaging either. You could barely keep up with me. And what that tells us immediately is that a very fast default rate of speech is not effective, nor is it influential as well. Now, this is where it starts to get really interesting and quite peculiar. Because if I stick to a fairly engaging rate of speech like this, what started as being a very engaging rate of speech, if I don't vary this rate of speech, after a while what started as being very engaging, after a while becomes monotonous, doesn't it? Notice how any default rate of speech is not engaging, nor is it influential. The key here is we must learn how to vary our rate of speech. That's the key. Because if we can vary our rate of speech, this is going to allow us to be more influential because we're able to hold people's attention. Now, the human brain is really interesting because anytime the human brain feels that it can predict the future, even when it comes down to the tempo and the rate of your speech, the human brain switches off. So if I speak in a way that is predictable, and then you can predict that my rate of speech is going to stay the same, and it's going to stay the same based on the history of the time I've been speaking, and you can kind of predict based off that, then after a while you just switch off because it's monotonous and it's not as engaging for you. Notice that? Because if I all of a sudden, sometimes I go quickly and sometimes I go slowly, and then you don't know when I'm going to speed up or slow down, that actually helps me keep your engagement. It helps me hold your attention, which makes me more influential. And here's the simple rule of thumb you can follow to allow you to vary your rate of speech with meaning. So when you're speaking about something that's very important, make sure you slow down. Notice how that bit there just seemed critical? Even though there was nothing critical there, it seems important, doesn't it? This is equivalent to a verbal highlight. You're highlighting for people, I want you to focus on this. Whereas if it's not as important, you can speed up. The bits that aren't as important, you can speed up naturally. And then if it's more important, slow down. So then you're telling the person you're speaking to what to focus on and what they don't really necessarily need to focus on. So I'm going to show you an example. I'm going to throw you to an example of one of my students. And in this example, in the first clip, you're going to see one of my students not vary their rate of speech at all. And then you're going to see them vary their rate of speech. And I want you to experience the difference for yourself. Check this out.
I was fortunate enough to have really great parents who are humanitarians and allowed me that platform to be able to do so. So I was able to provide resources to our neighbors, and being able to help them actually gave me that passion. So what did I do? I went to school for it. I volunteered a lot. I actually went to medical school to help others. I've traveled the world doing mission trips to be able to help people. And I actually got a job being able to do that and live my passion every single day. We get to we get to help people live a longer, more vibrant life. And if that at 1992 when I was 6 did not happen, I would not be the woman that I am today. There comes a time in everyone's life that clearly defines you as a person.
Slower.
For some, it happens when they're older. For others, it happens when they're young. Hurricane Andrew hit Homestead, Florida, directly head on at 165-mile-per-hour winds, leveling our entire community, including my home. Miraculously, or the only reason my family and I survived was because we hid underneath that kitchen sink, all 4 of us. Miraculously, that was the one thing left standing.
Wasn't that powerful? Just from that example, when you can see the examples side by side, the difference is dramatic, isn't it? And this is one foundation. Notice how engaging my student was in the second video as compared to the first video. And this is just one foundation so far. Imagine you combine all 5 together. All right, let's get on to the next foundation.